Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday night and MNFT Freedom, episode number 21. Rochelle, how are you doing this evening?
I am fabulous. And why is it that I have to be the only one not on camera? Because I'm lazy and I'm not putting on makeup to look as gorgeous as Shelly, and I can't compete with her anyway. So there you go. And episode 21, and you still can't say it. Say it for me. Say it for me, Scott. MNFT.
MNFT.
Say it again. MNFT. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to be back with Will. But
Yeah.
very, very happy to be here talking to one of my most amazing people I had the pleasure to meet in Web3. The beautiful, talented, exquisite Michelle Schiller, and all that she has to do, community engagement ambassador, pocket cow holder. What up, sis? Yeah, any opportunity to shamelessly pump pocket cows, I'm going to do it. Just because, that's the herd life. That's the herd life, Scott.
Yep.
But so much has happened this week for MNFT and our road to New Orleans. Absolutely ecstatic news to be screaming at the top of our lungs for. And all I got from Scott was a little smile going, yeah, that's expected, right? But he always gives me my kudos. He always gives me my kudos.
Yeah.
But great stuff rolling out. Great stuff rolling out. Solid week, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shelly, try your audio now. No audio?
No, we don't have audio for you, Shelly.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Let's do this. Try dropping out.
Scott broke it.
Maybe I did.
It's Friday, and he just wants to get to beer time, Will.
Yeah, I'm not so much of a beer drinker. It's just
not the beer
Friday.
drinker.
Yeah.
Oh, so you going straight for the whiskey?
Maybe.
Yeah, I know. I can always tell when is that kind of week, right? His eyes, his smile is not as bright, right? So yeah, it's whiskey night. I'm down for whiskey night.
Yep.
I don't have either.
So Shelly, can you hear us now?
I'm back.
Beautiful.
Woo!
There we go. I love it.
Awesome. So Rochelle, we have these two amazing guests. We had Will last week, brought him back on to kind of continue what we were discussing because we try to keep the episodes to an hour. And then we have Shelly, who's joining us tonight. I see her around the Pocket Cow community a lot.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And I'm Pocket Cow holder, so I have no complaints. But yeah, what are we talking about tonight, Rochelle?
Well, we definitely going to be talking to Shelly a little bit about her journey into fashion, being an NFT creator, and what that kind of looks like, and how does that all tie into Web3, right? Well, it ties in a lot. It ties in a lot. Digital fashion, additional revenue streams, and kind of going hand in hand with the content creation over on Will's side, and understanding how, learning what that technology can do. So now we have the beautiful Shelly talking about how she took her art, her efforts, her passion in real life, and is looking at Web3 as a revenue stream. And we're providing that access of information on Will's side as well. So marrying the best of both worlds from two different perspectives.
Awesome. So who are we starting with? So Shelly, why don't you just, we had Will do an introduction last week. Why don't you do an introduction tonight, and we'll start with that.
All right. Well, I'm Shelly Schiller. I'm an NFT artist here. I run an NFT project, a one-of-one collection called Diamond Hand Dragon. So if you see me posting about a bunch of dragon fanatic over here, that's me. But yeah, I'm a Web 2 baby. I'm a fashion designer. I mean, that's what I do for a living. So, I take old recycled clothing like this, and then I revamp it and sell it for discounted prices, since I'm usually using recycled materials. So I'm just taking old products and making them into new clothes, and shipping them out all over the world. So my company is called H2B Love Productions. That's happy to be hardcore.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, great. Welcome to the show. We appreciate you joining us. Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Will, you want to give us a quick rundown for those who didn't see last week?
Yeah, so I'm Will T, educator in the space of Web3, also founder of Kingfishers Media. We have a vetted brand, established brand, I guess best way to put it, called Kingfishers Corner, on which we broadcast weekly. We just changed our show times this past week to the 10 a.m. Eastern time slot. That works out better for me from a scheduling perspective and the support that I provide to my grandchildren who live with me, but also from getting people early in the day when their brains are firing on all cylinders, all the synapses are going, rather than later in the day like the 4 p.m. Eastern time slot we were in. And we do live learning. We broadcast out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter live broadcast in addition to Twitter Spaces, which is our audio source. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me back. And looking forward to learn more about Shelly.
Awesome. All right, Rochelle.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. I literally had a phone call today talking about the recycling aspect of your clothing brand, Shelly. And so in art, they call it transformative art, right? Where you take something existing and you make something new with it. I love the idea of taking something that I have, maybe a piece that I really love, because denim, let's be honest here, good denim takes years to break in. Good leather takes years to break in. So I am absolutely a fan of taking things that I have that maybe no longer fit, that may not necessarily be still in fashion and get away with it from a vintage standpoint, but be able to utilize it and get something brand new looking out of it. I'm a big fan of that. And I love that you say it's recycled, because what's the alternative, right? It's going to sit up in my closet. It's going to stay dated. I'm never going to throw it away, right? I'm never going to throw it away. So put it to good use. Do something good with it. Give it to an artist and let them reimagine on how it could be, right? I stopped donating clothes because those bins that you put them in, I did not know that those were companies that take it and resell it, right? So it wasn't going to the people you thought it was. So, I'm just putting it out there. If you have a closet full of stuff, look for a recycle artist that you could send that to, right? I'm just saying, just a free plug there, because I love collaborating. I love building. I love engaging your community to learn something new, do something different, and challenge yourself to be the change you want. So you talk about recycling. Well, here's an easy way to do it, right? And still impact somewhere. So I love that that's what your brand is about. How did you start that journey?
I started a long time ago. I was a DJ. I went to like parties, all the people, they wore different like hats. So my brand has changed over time. I really was on Facebook one day and I saw a woman, her name is Catwise, and she makes recycled sweater coats out of all of these different sweaters. And then I was like, oh my God, so she actually sells her patterns online and says, as long as you don't commercialize this, this is up to you guys, creative freedom, have fun with my idea. This saves the world by taking fabrics out of the garbage and landfills and things like that. So, she's like, I don't want to see the stuff at Walmart, basically, So, after that, I started, you can do that to anything. I make dresses, I make skirts, I make capes, I make hats, I make, all the sweaters. I mean, that's my best sellers, those sweaters, because everybody loves those. But, you can do that with anything. So, it started a long time ago and it's like evolved. But ever since, I realized that there's so many recycled or thrown out or, I'll just pick them up products or whatever that you can just use them. And, why not? I'd rather, change the world in a little small way that I can by taking some things out of the landfill, so that's where it started. And then, all these years later, we're still going strong. And that's one of my main revenue sources is my, it's a production company. I do all sorts of things.
I love that. The idea of rehoming. I'm a big fan of that. Every pet that I've ever had for myself or my children, except for Five Finger Freddy, he was a goldfish. I think Freddie was a goldfish. We bought him brand new, but
Right.
all the other pets that we had been rehomed. And so I go with the adage that one man's trash is another man's treasure. I love that that's what you do, right? Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. But this, you know what it comes to mind for me is immediately that I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to come back to you.
That's all right. Yeah, no, I find a lot of value in that. I know I am one that loves to take something and make it into something else. I like working with my hands. I like doing all kinds of crazy things. I like altering things.
Yep.
Changing them to be maybe not modern, but kind of retain that original style. And honestly, Rochelle, if you keep something long enough, it comes back in fashion. I mean, my blue leisure suit is like killing it right now.
Scott, that's a complete lie. Your platform shoes with the goldfish in it, it ain't ever coming back, bro. It's
It
never
might.
coming back. That's a lie you're telling yourself. It's not coming back, Scott. Mm-mm.
You're wearing them in New Orleans. Period.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. You know what? Yes, because yeah, I can't say it yet, but yes, it could very well be on the fashion runway at New Orleans. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Shelly knows. Maybe Shelly knows. But
Right.
so here's where my mind works and the natural progression of us coming together and kind of brainstorming and working well in the space. That leads me to say to Will, so now that you know what Shelly's passion is all about, right? How about a content creation on getting there? How do you turn your passion, right, into profit?
Wow, that's a great question. Do you have the secret sauce for that?
Oh, I'm like,
No, I
I
just,
do.
I just.
I actually do have the secret sauce. I DM
Nice.
Scott on a
Is
regular
that
basis.
it?
Can you
It,
send me $10? Can you send me? Yeah, that's my source to success right there. Right?
is
It is
it
called Scott.
is it like a simmer sauce or more like a slow cooker sauce? That's what I
It,
want to
it,
know.
it is like if she DM me one more time, kind of sauce.
No, it's great. It's great. That's a great question, Rochelle, and I'm glad you asked it. So, turning your passion into profit. Wow, that's a very interesting proposition, right? So, little did I know just over 3 years ago when I first entered the space that I'd be doing what I'm doing today, right? That was not the path I was on. That was not the trajectory I was on when I first started investigating and researching blockchain technology. It wasn't until about 7 months into my journey when I latched into a community called the Social Bees DAO. That's what we're known as now. We are one of the few 100% community owned and fully on-chain DAOs, right? Decentralized autonomous organizations. That's how communities are formed in this new world, right? So with that being said, when I started learning about what that community's grand plans was, I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And they're tapping into this technology that's free from intermediaries, it's free from external influences, right? Because to me, my why, and it's amplified on every show intro that we do at Kingfisher's Corner, is that my mom had a vision. She shared that vision with me when I was 14. And it really is about empowering people that have been suppressed societally for a long time. It's about empowering people in impoverished areas of the world and giving them a better lifestyle and teaching them, the pathways towards financial uplifting, right? And these financially distressed areas. So when we talk about that, and this community had an overarching emphasis, I'm like, everything my mom ever visioned can be accomplished, and it can be accomplished in my lifetime. So why not tap into that? Now, when I first started Kingfisher's Corner as a brand, it was more about getting to know the founders and the people behind the projects and what they were, right? So really looking at it from an objective, qualified perspective. But then something shifted when I came out of conference last summer, coming out of Austin, Texas. Something shifted for me and something clicked in my brain. And I said, you know what? Oh, there is such a big need for responsible information in the space, especially the way that the media and the press stigmatize it quite regularly and try, I wouldn't say they try, they do a very good job of keeping people away from this space. But why? Why should people fear this space? They shouldn't, right? And that's the message that I run with. So when we turn that around into something that I'm very passionate about, which is ensuring that people get responsible information and not misinformation or information that's slanted or biased, it was at that point that I'm like, you know what? I resonate with being an educator. So going on that, and when we changed the format of the show back in late August of 2022, we really wanted to embrace and emphasize the value proposition for education in this space. And that's when the real work started, right? Started learning about branding. I knew nothing about branding, about brand awareness, about brand marketing, about brand kits, about all the brand assets you need to create an established brand. But I learned and I did the work and I put in the time. And yeah, then fast forward to today, right? So what I'm passionate about is the access to the technology, what it represents for all of humanity, looking at it from the big picture perspective, because that's the lens I typically operated in the corporate America world, and then applying it to this and just really base level explaining the ecosystem and the capabilities in common language conversationally with people that know nothing about what's going on here, and then giving them a reason of why they should be participating now rather than later. So to me now, into profits, well, we're working on that, right? So we just had a mint. We found our core super supporters, right, that are very passionate like we are about going forward on this emphasis. And right now we're in the stage of exploring grant funding, but also creating solid revenue pathways based on various ways that we can contribute to the community at large of the blockchain ecosystem, but also help them develop and mature into their own pathways along the way. So I guess I have a big heart.
I love that. Here's something that's near and dear to my heart as well, because I am neurodivergent. I'm a parent to neurodivergent children. And Shelly, I have to tell you, you're an inspiration for my daughter, right? She absolutely loves the dragon. And you talked about being dyslexic, and this is where representation really matters. I don't even think I need to explain to you what that means to someone like us. When we see people who are successful, who have struggled with typical educational system, and now we're the disruptors in the space, right? When we talk about, what quote unquote used to be a disability is very much super ability. It is a superpower to do some of the things that we do. It's how our brain compensate, but I dare to say it's how our brains evolve, right? So they're more tapped in to certain sectors, and you see that in your creativity. So to that little girl, to that little boy that's listening in, to the parent that's listening in, um, you know, dyslexia does not come equal to failure, right? And I say that to really just highlight I am better for being in your presence every single time. I absolutely adore you. And yes, I'm fangirling out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, honestly, like having dyslexia, especially since I didn't really understand like that, my parents, like, I used to see a kid, and it's just, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with me, but it's just like, man, I just have a hard time in like certain subjects, you guys. And like, I picked up other things so well, and other things like it just does not stay in there. And, being an adult that has a hard time spelling, even the days of the weeks, it's like, how many times have you done this? It's just something that is cross-wired in there. And it was a struggle. I did go to school for a long time, trying to, correct these things and overcome them. And, all it did was just allow me to further my education because I wasn't going to be able to progress in certain areas. So, I went to school for a long time, but I mean, honestly, I enjoyed it thoroughly. More when I got out of high school. Honestly, I went to college for a long time. And, it's just, Yeah, it's interesting, but it's just wherever I struggled in this area, I just picked it up and used the creative mind in somewhere else to overcome these things. So you got to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think a big part of that question that you asked, though, Rochelle, was, how do you bring your passion to retail, right? How do you make money out of something you love to do? And I think it is a big part of being creative. It is taking, something that people find value in and adapting your skill to that, right? And to share a personal experience, Megan and I, we owned a bakery. And the reason we owned a bakery is because she liked making those sugar flowers. It was kind of her release when she lost her mother. And she needed something to put them on. So I baked a cake. We put them on it. She took it to work, and people started asking her to make cakes. And that evolved into me taking something I'm passionate about, which is sculpting, and just using sugar and edible stuff as the medium and being able to sculpt it up and make it look like pretty much anything you can imagine. And, that was where I took something that I love to do, which was, using my hands to create art and being able to sell it to people because it was edible and they loved what we did. So, I mean, that's kind of a way. I mean, normally I would have said, yeah, no, I like sculpting. What does that have to do with cakes? Nothing, right? But I just opened my mind a little bit. I looked at that as a medium rather than just an edible. And I was able to make that work where I was doing what I love to do. And we were making money off of that.
I love that you said that because I want to see the Diamond Hand Dragons as a cartoon,
Oh,
right? You posted one today where he was in the kitchen,
oh yeah.
right?
They're
Oh,
doing.
there you go. He was in. I cannot wait because it's engagement. And I'm an adult, right? But he's so. I want to see him engaging with the kids in the kitchen, right? About healthy choices. You know, at the end of the day, um, we can absolutely do so much more when we get together and we brainstorm and we talk how we can make the space better, right? I think that's our typical conversation for each of us individually as well as collaboratively as a group. Wherever we're at, we're always talking about how we make things better, how we come solution based, right? And so for me, I thought this was the perfect opportunity for me to challenge Will to say, I want you to go back to the drawing board, take a look at your content that you have, and I challenge you to do something specific geared towards the neurodivergent community because representation does matter, right? And I feel like our voices at times can be drowned out by so much. But we want to learn. We just learn differently. We have passions and we're no different. Sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to get to the destination, but we still get to the destination. Um, and if we are going to break the system, well, if we're going to be disruptors in the space, if we're going to stand up and say this has to be a level playing field and open access for all, then it stands with each of us to live by that. So I challenge you, Will, to go back to the drawing board, take a look at your access passes, and see how you can facilitate, maybe partner with Shelly, how you can facilitate something that helps that special child realize that they too are definitely a superhero and can learn and grow as an adult as well, right? That could be teaching both.
No doubt, no doubt.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and there's a lot of untapped resources, especially with Web3. I think there's, a lot of things that are in construction right now, and a lot of things that are not even thought of yet. So, really, I mean, we could come up with this fantastic idea utilizing that passion that you have, like making clothing, right? And we had Hayden Studios on a few weeks ago, who is building out a very unique game, where well, he's building out a very unique game. But
Did you see
you know,
his test? He
what's
posted
that?
it on Twitter. Did you see his latest test?
I have not. No.
And I'm not a gamer. I'm not a gamer. I'm sorry, ADHD kicking in here. And
Oh,
I
all
just wanted
good.
to make, Will, I do sound passionate. So when I say I challenge you, that was not to say what you have is not fantastic as is. I mean, sometimes I forget how kind of forceful I can be. So I am
You're
saying is
good.
when you continue to add content to your catalog,
Sure.
I want you to bear that in mind, right?
No,
Just
you're
no
good.
threats
You're
in there.
good. No, 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 you're good. You're good. And I didn't take it that way either, right? We haven't revealed our entire grand plan yet because we're building in a incremental phased approach, right? Which I feel is the best way to build towards sustainability. You build a solid foundation, and then you look to scale up from there, right? So there's some things in the work, Rochelle, that maybe even you are not aware of, 'cause, but definitely all things to consider. And that's a good point, right? Because, I am an ally when it comes to not just diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives, but adding in the additional layers of belongingness and accessibility. For those that don't know, I have my grandson who's 6, soon to be 7, just graduated from kindergarten today. Yay, go! And he starts first grade in the fall, but he is on the spectrum for autism, right? And so he sees the world a lot differently. And I understand that through my interactions with him, but I've had to learn. I've had to learn over the past 2 to 3 years how to interact with him appropriately, how to be assistant to his needs when he's being vocal about what his needs are. When he says help, what does he really need help with, and identifying those. So, all good points, Rochelle, and those are all under consideration at Kingfisher's Media.
Fantastic. And Scott, I apologize. I just absolutely interrupted you in your train of thought.
Not at all.
I am so
No,
very sorry.
I was just saying, like you take a project like Hidden Studios, who's developing products and making a means for passive income throughout that game, where you could easily create re I don't know if you want to call it refitted, reworked clothing or custom designs, Shelly.
We call it
You know,
over here. It's upcycled clothing.
upcycle clothing
Yeah,
for for the characters in the game to wear or for them to shop for, right?
definitely.
And whenever they buy something like that within the game, maybe you sell it for the price you would sell it for in real life, but instead of them receiving it, you donate that to a homeless shelter, right?
Yeah.
Or something along the lines of that, or maybe they do get it. I don't know. There's so many possibilities there, and that's just kind of going back to that, making your passion a reality and something you can earn from, right? And
Yeah,
we
that's the beauty, Scott, of why I'm super excited about the fashion show, right? Because it's not just taking your passion to design and create, but having a digital twin of that asset, that is an additional revenue stream for you. And so if you're passionate about donating to the homeless shelter, you're passionate about feeding America. Yeah, that's a thing, people. That's a thing. Right. Whatever it is, it's an absolute scalable way to do that and get liquidity to build your brand out. And I love that. It is upcycling, Scott. Get it right.
upcycling.
Like you are
I'm
not
with it
hip.
now.
You're
With
just not hip, and I am. Okay, I'm so hip to this. I knew what it was only because I actually was on a phone call earlier that told me about it. No clue, no clue, right? No clue. But see now, this is how my brain works. This right here in this panel is how my brain works. Is making those connections, right? Taking a look at everything that Shelly can add to the table,
Mhm.
and how someone like Will, right, who has his superpower where she lacks that particular skill set, and marrying it together and say, okay, let's continue to be that ripple in the pond, right, and showcase the best of what we can do when we do it together. I'm never going to get tired of saying that. This is about community. This is about working together. This is about collaboration. And when we are open to lock arms with each other to impact lives, all I can say is just let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Ooh. No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's all about community building here. You know, I have my NFT partnership. Pi Protocol Marketplace has been an amazing NFT host for me. They allowed staking on my dragons, and most people who invested in my project actually earned their money back if you like had bought it when they had started it. So like that was really generous of Pi Protocol for Marketplace for doing that for me. And Lava Heads, I've been working with them for over a year, and they've been doing different things. They're featuring my dragons in their Web3 game, as well as promoting my Web3 book that I'm writing, but I'm having some help with that. And, as well as when I make them, they're all over marketing so well. Social Bees was one of the first NFT projects I ever learned about coming into this space seriously. And, they were actually educating like old people and the older generation. Okay. Excuse me, the older generation, and but like I made it to where I can understand, and I was like, oh, okay, see, I understand these things, and then I started following that community, and that was actually the first NFT community that I was like, oh, like that sent like that the I thought that's what they were all doing here, basically. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, they're big, they're always active. It seems like they're targeting all age groups. That's education on like why blockchain technology is so important. So like I, as a newbie, that just jumped on the Twitter, I thought that's what they were all doing. And then I was like, sorely mistaken. After my investigation, I was like, oh, okay, that's not what's going on here. So then, but I listened, and I wanted to like kind of integrate that into something if I had even tried to decide to launch a project. But I was actually involved in tokens when I got here. Everybody is chasing that dollar. So, I gotta try to get in there and stuff, but I was just drawing stuff, the community would talk and I would just draw things and, show it in the chat, and they're like, you need to make a project. And I was like, but what's the utility? And I'm like, well, it's artwork. I mean, that's utility, so, and then, my partnerships have allowed me to develop additional utilities, as well as getting, I get the artwork back to my holders. They can win it as many times as they want to by holding a dragon, and participating. So, collaborations or Scott and you, Mistress, it's like, I appreciate the opportunities here because, my ideas, I only have as much reach as as I can see. So I'm like, I appreciate it. I really do. And, this is like my first interview here. So I really appreciate you guys having me on.
No. Your reach is going to be massive. The merch, the cartoon, don't you're going to be getting your very cuddly dragon. Yeah, I shouldn't have dropped that. Yeah, no, I shouldn't have dropped that. I didn't even tell you yet, did I, Shelly? So yeah, no, but let's just say, let's just say there is way more to come, right? Because there's a difference in saying how you support someone. And I value all types of support. I value when you pick up the phone. I value when you check in. I value all types of support. And when you are in a position to give a whole lot of support, I'm looking for within my circle. And we've had some really phenomenal things happen for us with MNFT. And I do believe that, yes, Scott, our emotional and karma bank account is growing, buddy. I'm just going to say that. Our emotional and karma bank account is growing. Yep. And so we want to make sure that we are in a position to help those that are truly part of the ideology and our mission that we share, which is making an impact, which is social responsibility with profit, right? And I'm really excited to have you on board with that in a major way. There's so much more to come for you, Shelly. Yes, I'm putting it out there. So much more for you to come. I'm just going to say it again. I'll say it again. And maybe now I'll get Scott to smile. Yeah, the dragon cartoons is coming. It's coming. It's coming, Scott. Jump on in.
Here's the famous Will T Twitter hand raise, right? Anyways, No, Shelly, it's great that you have familiarity with social bees and the, my first family of crypto and the community that I really hitched my wagon to. I will let you know the geezers in crypto are still kicking. Yep, they're still kicking, and they're on every morning in their natural time slot that they've always been in. And it's really awesome and amazing to hear
Yeah.
what they talk about from that perspective. And one thing, one of the hosts, JC, talks about all the time, right? And this kind of ties into what you just said, Rochelle, right? Is socially conscious capitalism. Socially conscious capitalism. And it's powerful. It's very powerful. And yeah, this is an amazing journey. And I can't see what, I'm waiting to see what unfolds for you, Shelley, because you're amazing and you've got a bright future, as I'm sure all of us in here do, right? And everybody
Yeah.
who's in this ecosystem right now does, because we are still early. There's
Yeah,
a long,
I'm looking forward to the
yeah,
lava heads and the dragons having financial literacy cartoons and
that'd be
emotional
great.
intelligence cartoons and the best revenge is success cartoons, right? Because I have always been a Pinky and the Brain fan. So you gotta have your antagonist, right? You got to. So lava heads look really perfect for that. For the adorable dragons. You
Hey,
tend to think that the dragons are scary, but they are just, you make them so lovable.
yeah, we lava head suits us too, because I'm a little firecracker when it comes down to it. Oh, don't let her fool you. But we try to keep it on the cute side over here.
Oh yeah,
Or,
look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
And I was the artist for that project as well. It's another 555 collection, PFP collection. That's the second NFT collection that I was contracted to do that one. So I have two out there, I guess, that you can go view my artwork and support me in various ways on that one. My Diamond Hand Dragons, I'm actually on the Binance Smart Chain. So I didn't realize, I should have listened to the bees just a little longer, because maybe I could have gotten tuned about some of this financial literacy that, if I picked a popular chain for NFTs, maybe I would have did a little differently. But, I just stuck to what I know, and, no regrets over here. We're launched on Binance. So, it's been a lot of fun, and a lot of is on Ethereum. So, it's just multi-chain over here. I had to learn over time, even like what the different chains were. I didn't even know.
Yeah. But you know what? Binance is picking up. So hold on. All I'm gonna say, if you're holding one, continue to hold it. But how amazing is it that we're on this panel together, and Will's journey, Social Bees, where he's at now with the Access Pass, and your journey and where you're at started with Social Bees. How amazing is that? Because I didn't know that before. And
Yeah,
so, for me,
and they're
when
so strong. I was like,
absolutely,
that community.
absolutely. When I talk about, and this was the crazy guy in Miami. I was like, well, I sure did. This was the crazy guy that says, yeah, we can do it, and I'll help you. Right. And here we are pushing so fast towards NOLA and all that's happening, and really looking for an exciting time there. But for me, is being in your circle of influence and having that vision in your head, but also understanding my capabilities and wanting to play in my own wheelhouse. That now that I've connected the dots, I can show the finished product. I can now show that cake that you sculpted, Scott, because I kind of feel like the sculptor. I don't have that creativity that way. The way my brain works is accumulating these micro dots of data, and for some reason it starts to paint this picture, and I, and this has happened so consistently. So now, not only do I say, okay, here it is, we're breaking this information down in bite-sized pieces, we're making it fun through the diamond dragons and the lava heads, right? We're reaching people where they're at, and now I have, from the simple to the complex, and the master classes, and I have the people that are ready and dedicated to take you from cradle to grave to understand what Web3 is, what the potential is, and what we can do together. I am absolutely honored that you guys are here with me, spending time with me, continue to support me, and always in the background when I need you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. That wow. That was like a closing statement. We still have 20 minutes, Rochelle. Jeez. Yeah. um
She's
So much, Scott, so much has happened and evolved
yeah.
within just the past 48 hours that I don't want to leave any time without saying how much I appreciate the people that support me, right? Um, even with you, when I'm like screaming like a girl and going, "Well, Scott, it's big news, Scott," and he was like, "Yeah, yay, woo, hey, right?" Like,
I
"Yay, news, Scott," And to be honest, to be fair, it does not require big news, small news, any kind of news. I am supported by Scott 100% every single day. Him and his wife, Megan, are absolutely been phenomenal. I am in love with my logo. And that was created by his beautiful wife, Megan. So I just tease Scott a lot about things like that. So, um, you know, well, buddy, we gonna get those passes
Yeah.
minted out. Those,
Say again.
I said, we gonna get those passes minted out. Number one.
Oh, it's already closed.
What? What?
Yeah, yeah, the mint closed. The
And
mint
he
is
said,
closed.
he
There
said,
is no, and
he
say
says it so
again.
casually. The mint is closed. Oh yeah, it's what? What?
Yeah, the mint is closed. It was only it was a one-time 1 week offer, which is fine. We put it as an open edition, right? What the purpose and the emphasis was to find people that are super passionate, like we are, about education and moving that conversation forward, right? Now we're moving into the next phase, and the next phase really is basically formulating a campaign around the book. The book is a very strong contention, and we want to get it spread as far and wide as possible. So, with that being said, right now we filed an application with the company in Web3 that's going to help us with that. That's going to give us exposure across 4 different blockchains, and then we have 2 other blockchains in the fold that we have relationships with. So we're going to be the next drop. Trust me, Rochelle, you're not going to miss this one. You're
All
not going to
right.
miss this one. We're going to be dropping on 6 different blockchains simultaneously. What do you think about that? Has that ever been done before?
All at the same time? No.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That
Yeah.
push is phenomenal. That push is absolutely phenomenal. I love it.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
So
I will say, however, um, are you going to have components um, for Web2?
for the book, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
is that portion going to be like as easy as Kindle, or what I would prefer to be a fan of, on your website and download as an ebook, right? To be honest, because then you get to keep the bulk of those money. And I am a Kindle subscriber. I'm not knocking it. I'm a Kindle subscriber. I'm just saying, I know where the funds are going, and I'd love to see that it continues to grow, right?
Right.
So as a book buyer, I'll tell you right now, I'd buy it off your website in a heartbeat as an ebook. Download it. It'll open up. If you do it in the Kindle format, it'll already open up in my Kindle or in my iTunes book, right? Just an idea out there.
Sure. Well, one thing we learned, because with everybody who tapped into our Genesis Mint, right, is there are when we're talking about blockchain, it's a little bit different story. But the emphasis was to publish it as an ebook, and it is very like stylistically, it's very, there's a lot of semblance to it being an ebook, right? But also the formatting and the file formatting we had to really look at, because we wanted the metadata to run through the International Planetary File System, right? And so we imagined a PDF. What it turned out to be was an MP4, which I think is better, right? Because you get the visual. And if the timing that's set for it, so right now it's set for a 2-minute read. If the timing is too fast for you can always pause it, right? Take the time to read it. And the cool thing about an MP4, like a video file, is that once you own it, I mean, you're going to own it forever. It's going to be minted on the blockchain. You have your certificate of ownership. If another thing we learned through this Genesis Mint was we could create other pathways outside of digital currencies for people to participate, and that's exactly what people did, right? So yeah, this book, as far as the emphasis and the energy that's going to go into really driving this book, as something that everybody inside of Web3 and everybody outside of Web3 needs, I would say needs, is going to be really special. Yeah.
And I'll just offer this up. With our book process last year, I went down that rabbit hole, did a lot of that research, and I will tell you, as um, a book lover, I'm not connecting my wallet to read it. First of all, most times I'm on my phone. And a good workaround solution for me was that wherever you put it up for sale, you also put the PDF. Just as an idea, right? You can absolutely load the PDF with the NFT itself, so that I have the option to download it, and have it there, and have it the digital twin. And there are ways that you can protect the data so it's not copied and things like that. And if you want to know, I'll be more than happy to DM you. And I'm sure you probably already considered all of that. The fact that you're going out on 6 blockchains simultaneously, I'm a huge fan of, because I love to test things, and I typically love to break things first in order to test it. So I know that you're going to be you're going to be sharing that journey, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because that's just who you are. You're going to share that journey. You can say, okay, we've tested here, and 2 worked, and now we're going to test it. And I know you're going to continue that testing phase. So it saves me a lot of work down the road if I come up wanting to do something like that. So I love that you are taking on that challenge, very boldly, and partnering with the right people when it comes to publishing on the blockchain, because I don't think people quite get what that means. I think it's Simon and Schuster that got it for those secondary sales for college school books, right?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, they knew they were missing out in a huge way. So I think with last year, the year before, they were like, no. You're gonna need to buy this NFT to get this book, right? Because they wanted to tap into the secondary sales market for college books. So not a lot of people really quite are there yet with understanding what that could mean for you, being the first set of holders. Just saying, being the first set of holders on certain types of things, not financial advice. I'm a bookie first. I love books, everything about it. So my gold, right? My gold may not necessarily be your gold either. But that's just the way that I look at things. And love what you're building. I'm a huge supporter. We'll continue to support you. We'll continue to support the positivity that you bring to the space, the value that you add to every room that you're in, and really appreciate us getting together and chopping it up tonight. See, Scott, I
I
could do
appreciate
both.
that. Yeah, I appreciate that. And we have other published authors, right, that are in our network that we can lean into for feedback and experience, and people like you. Maybe people, who are just big supporters and spreading awareness and creating exposure for what we're doing at Kingfishers Media. We take all the feedback to heart. We take it seriously, and we take it under serious consideration as well. So I appreciate that, Rochelle.
Here's something else that you can do that is relatively easy, in the book format. There is a way for dyslexic individuals that has been proven very effective, and we did it on our book. You highlight, so the brain automatically fills
Mm-hmm.
in. So you highlight portions of the word. So, like, for example, if it's earth, you bold the EA, and the brain automatically fills it in. And it's been a very effective tool in helping dyslexic individuals read. And it's actually not expensive at all. You simply run it through, and you could select it if your editor, or whoever is formatting the book for you. I forgot the technical term for it. I'll look for it and send you. It doesn't cost you anything more, but you can absolutely say, hey, we have this learn to read version as well. Just saying, I think it would
Nice.
be amazing.
No, I think that'd be amazing too. And understand, right? This is all self-published. So I am the editor. I am the editor in chief. I'm the publisher. But this is a community effort too, right? So everybody who tapped in on our Genesis Mint, they'll be providing their feedback. They'll be providing and lending a hand up to the resources. This is not just a one-person show anymore. This is totally a community. A community company, I would say, that is part of the decision-making process, especially when it comes to the creative aspects of it.
Nice. Wow. There's a lot of information there. A lot of things going on. But yeah, this is exciting, Rochelle. And I appreciate you. And I I know I'm always there, and I don't get excited over anything. I mean, you can ask Darren and Toro and everyone. I
Except
mean,
sculpting, maybe, right?
Yes. Did
well,
you see his eyes twinkle when he mentioned sculpting?
Yes.
Yeah, you saw that, right, Shelly? Yeah,
Oh,
there was this big smile on his face, and he was like,
right. Oh,
"I
you
worked
know,
with my hands."
yeah,
You could tell. You could tell.
and I enjoyed that. That's something that I truly enjoy. I find solitude in that. I think, but and it just is able to allow the stress to just go away. Even though we were on deadlines and we had to get things done, it was a stress reliever, really. But in any case,
Well, I am looking to build up a catalog of content, um, and more to come on that. So, Scott, anytime you feel like sitting in front of a camera and doing a tutorial one-on-one on sculpting, I am open for it. I need that content, bro. Content is king, and I want to be the queen of it.
I've already done it.
Right?
Actually,
So I am galvanizing. I am absolutely galvanizing and motivating and encouraging and uplifting my creators out there to take a look at your passion, and start there, and lean in to our collective community, on how to turn it into profit, how to get to profit, what is the business model you need to build, and stop taking a look at what you can't do. Start taking a look at what you can do. Develop that can do mindset. And we can do it with really easy things because remember, our brains are like computers, right? So we have to program it. Before we take on those really big tasks, let's program it to do the really small things. And once we get hooked on that endorphin feeling, let's move on to the next stage. And that's what it's about. All of us collectively sharing our experiences, sharing our journey, and hopefully you can take a little bit from all of us or none of us, and just hey, um, lead your own path, because at the end of the day I believe we all end up exactly where we need to be. It is our choice on how we get there with the journey, the hard way or the easy way.
yep.
Amen. I think there's a saying that goes something like, when you tell yourself you can't do something, and then you tell yourself you can do something, you're right.
True.
Yep.
True. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. We all seek inspiration, motivation. Um, listen, this adulting shit, I want to give it back. I want I want to give it back every single day I wake up. I want to give this adulting shit back. But that's not how it works. And so I have to believe I'm not, a person of faith in the traditional sense, but I do believe in something greater than myself. And so I believe every day that you wake up, you have reset the clock to be better, to do better, and to achieve more. Every single day that you're able to open your eyes. And like me at 51, I count that I'm alive by the aches and pains, right? It starts with the knee and the pop in the knee. Oh, yep, yep, yep. I felt that. Hello, arthritis, right? Hello, arthritis. How are you today? you know, I'm alive, so that means that I can achieve, right? And that's what we're looking to do. We're really looking to bring value and some positivity to the space. And whenever you see any of these profiles somewhere, best believe, unless I'm ranting on JP Morgan, you best believe that.
Oh, if you land on JP Morgan, you know we're along for your ride.
Yeah, yeah, unless I'm ranting on big banks and why we are considered quote unquote disruptors. I've been called a disruptor all my life. I remember my youngest memory in school, and I loved learning. Was why can't you sit still? Why are you so disruptive? So you know what? I leaned into that. I lean into that 100%. I embrace it. I uplift it, and I'm inspired every day by it. I will be that disruptor because we have to take a look at what doesn't work, and stop whining about what doesn't work and start coming together with solutions that do work.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%. So Shelly, I put in the private chat almost at the beginning what your website was.
Oh
'Cause I
yeah.
was gonna bring it up. Can you
Oh, let's look at it. Let's look at
can you
it.
repeat that?
Is it my dragons or the fashion clothing company?
You
We
tell
want to look
me.
at all of it.
Well, just do diamondhanddragon.net because that one's easier to spell.
I want to see
Diamond
the
Hand
clothes, Scott.
Dragon.
Yeah, I don't have me at this very second.
Oh,
We can find it. We can
There
find
we go.
them.
Ta-da!
But the dragons, they got their story. You know, they got where to mint. Yep, there we are. Shelly Schiller, Diamond Hand Dragon. You know, we host a raffle every 10 sales, you guys, and I'm at 188 dragons sold. So, you know, we got another artwork giveaway coming up. I just asked questions about your dragons, you guys, because I'm writing a Web3 book, but I need the community to help me. Okay. Like I've lived a life where, you know, I've done certain things, but you guys have done other things. And I want to write about your lives into this story. You know, all of my holders, I think I have about 73 of them. You know, you guys pick your dragons for different reasons. And, you know, I would like to know about it. So I usually just to ask the community for participation to win the artwork. I usually have about 3 winners when I do a raffle, and I'll usually ask a question like, what does your dragon like to eat? What are they FOMOing about? What are they reading? You know, just different things, just to give me a little bit more inspiration and a little bit more insight into what's going on in your life. You know, he's on the mint page right now. The first 100 dragons were minted on MNFTs. And then Pi Protocol had recruited me, and I was actually their first artist on their platform to mint a public collection. And so, you know, I was recruited by them. So the next 400 dragons are going to be minted on, 455 are going to be minted on Pi Protocol Marketplace. And we're at Dragon 355 this week. So the minting consistency is 5 dragons weekly for the past 72 weeks in a row, you guys. 72. Ah!
that is fantastic, Shelly. That is fantastic. I will tell you what, I definitely
because this is like a full-time job over here. So, you know, I'm marketing, I'm producing, I'm selling them, I'm creating physical artwork, I'm mailing it out, I'm writing a book. You can read some of their stories. I've already integrated some of these. And usually when you buy your dragon, I'll send you a little bit of tidbit about what I was thinking about them, what your character's doing, because they all have a name and a number. So I'm really trying to make these really collectible. You know, they're connected to physical artwork, and I'm trying to give the artwork back to the community. And this is just something that like I thought I could do as a utility. You know, like this is what I can do, you guys, is that I can draw real things and I can mail them to you if you're a holder of my project, you know. So, and I've kept the prices reasonable. The floor price has gone up, you know, over the course of time as I've been doing this over a year and a half. But you know, for like $70, you get 150 chances to win artwork from me over and over and over again. And if you've won a painting or drawing and you want a hat or gloves or a coat at some point because you've won like 10 times and I've, you know, mailed you 100 paintings and you don't want those anymore, like, you know, like that's your prerogative. Ask me to do something else and we can see what you can do. Run a production company, so I can make anything, you know. So yeah, so that's my website. And we've been in creation for over a year and a half here in the space on the Binance Smart Chain. And, you know, out of 355 dragons, I got 188 of them rehomed, and they're, you know, just keeping safe. And, you know, for a long time, they were actually collecting a passive PIP token for a long time, which essentially paid for your investment. So, you know, that was pretty special, a Pi Protocol Marketplace to do that for me. But yeah, and then you know, I take dragon requests. So if you want to see a dragon reading, even though I got a couple of them doing that, and or you want to see a dragon playing golf, or you know, the things that you guys like to do, you know, I'm going to write them into a book. And my ending goal of this story is that I want to integrate them into as many metaverses as possible. We're already involved in 4 different metaverses at this point, and I'm going to be erecting a big like monument. I'm like envisioning like a statue that has like digital pages that, you know, just has each dragon and their dragon story and description, that anybody in the metaverse, whether you're a holder or not, can go up and read a story about 555 different dragons doing dragon things in 100% dragon world that involves diamonds, cryptos, and dragons.
I love it. I love
Nice.
it.
And you know, diamond hand it, you guys. You know, where I want to give prolonged value to these, so you know, just hold on to them.
Well, there's definitely a future for them. You know, more to that, more on that to come. But there's definitely a future for them. I definitely want to get a connection with Pi Protocol. It sounds like they really want to work with artists, and I love any business that says, "Hey, we understand what that struggle is, and let's work with you." So you know, shout out to them, big time,
I
big time.
best marketplace, and you know, weekly they host you know, a space where artists can come in and share their artwork, whether they're on their, you know, their platform or not, because they were writing contracts for artists for free that they were just, you could have went and launched it on OpenSea if you wanted to, and you didn't even have to use their marketplace. They were just really trying to help out different artists in this space that were, you know, new or had questions or wanted to launch on Binance or AVAX or Ethereum or Polygon at this point, you know, and they were doing this all for free. They're actually a DeFi project and a metaverse project. So the marketplace was just an additional tool that they had incorporated to, you know, really help more people in this space become familiar with their platform. So, you know, I was grateful to be, you know, one of the first people on there, and you know, they just have been so good to all of their artists. You know, like all of them have been having a successful project on their marketplace. So I wish more people would come in, you know, kind of just poke around the environment, see what Pi Protocol is doing, because they're just, I haven't seen another marketplace really take care of their community the way that, I mean, not even just like the artists, like the whole community, the way that they did. Like it's something rugged, they took care of it, you know, like I've never seen that happen in this space before, you know. So, but they're actually a you know, a DeFi project, and they have tokens launched on a cross chain. So
Yeah, well, you know, Scott and I are always looking for other businesses on the blockchain that leads with integrity. That's something, yeah, that we're very, very, very passionate about. So I certainly will be reaching out. Please pass on the information. It sounds like the kind of business that we want in our family focused part of our NOLA event. You know, give an opportunity to artists, and wow, that's huge. I know what a dev costs for writing a contract, right? And to be able, yeah, that is huge. This is really putting your money where your mouth is. And you gotta recognize businesses that are doing that, and we're doing that quietly, right? We wouldn't have known. You're out here saying, hey, you know, here it is, I benefited from it. And this is what they're doing. So I love hearing that. I certainly would be reaching out to see if I can include them in my circle of influence as well. Well, I know you have a dynamic website as well, but you closed your mint, so I ain't talking to you because I didn't get to mint. You know?
Oh, stop. There will be other opportunities. No, there will be other, you know what?
Okay, like this.
Say that again.
I said you're getting on 6 chains here in a moment, so it's coming.
Yeah, with the book, right? Yeah, well, with the book, right? So you'll have a pathway there, but the additional thing, right? So the Genesis Mint was important to us to give back as much value as we could to the community and to the people who are really hyper focused, like we are, about moving the needle on the educational narrative, right? We will have subsequent drops and mints. Don't worry about that. We have a 6-quarter planning calendar. But what we're going to do is we're going to narrow the focus on one specific area of the company on successive drops and mints. So instead of it being this full, robust, comprehensive value you get, you're still going to get value, but it's going to be more trimmed down into more like a laser focus, right? So I think that is really going to resonate with you, and you can pick and choose which one you want to participate on, depending on, you know, where you want to learn at. Do you want to learn in virtual environments or do you want to learn in person? We're going to have something for everybody. Don't worry about that, Rochelle. We're here. We're
Fantastic.
in it to win it, and we're here for the future.
Wonderful. And I see Chef Unlimited. That's Amanda Scott. She's down in the audience in the comments, asking, what do I think of the metaverse? Well, if you've known me for some time, you would have always heard me say, a metaverse is trash. I'm never investing in it. It has zero value. And then bam, here comes Will, back in Miami talking about education and me going, finally a use for the metaverse, one that I could see really having tremendous potential. It is the ability to customize that environment. I said it to Shelly earlier when she came up on screen, and her colors. My brain lights up when it see color. It gets happy. It truly is my drug, right? There's a lot of color around me. And so taking that kind of scientific data and applying it in an environment that is conducive to learning, yeah, okay, now I'm open to those conversations, and where it can truly take us, really just to absorb knowledge, right? So yeah, that's Amanda teasing me. Is her picture, um, is that a meatball or is that dessert? Ice cream with
Looks
a
like a dessert.
strawberry. Oh my God, and I'm so hungry right now.
Hey,
Okay.
Rochelle, Rochelle, sounds like we might have an opportunity for you in partnering with us on being our designer for our auditorium in our virtual environments. I don't know. We'll have to talk in the back channels about that.
Oh yeah, I took so with the twins, they were preemies, right? And so I had a lot of help, and I will give a big shout out um to an agency in New York, that really helped me learn a lot about my twins, right? And so Baby Einstein, well, this was 21 years ago now, but Baby Einstein at that time was cutting edge with the colors that help with neurodivergent brains. So there's a lot of scientific data on it now, Will, that even, and you don't have to be just neurodivergent, just on learning on the whole, the colors that you have around you, even the texture of the physical book as well, Will. There's a lot of scientific data out there now that can help trick that brain into releasing those endorphins, because now you're telling it you're doing something good because you're feeling good about it, to learn. And it's more difficult for adults to learn. So yeah, there's a lot of data out there and out there for free. I absolutely love to weigh in, because it's a passion of mine, making sure that we're providing people an opportunity, even at my age, at 51, to say, hey, you can come learn this stuff, and because we're making it in bite-sized pieces for you.
Awesome. Well, Rochelle, we are over an hour. Do we want to go ahead and call it for the night, or?
Yeah, we can definitely wrap it up. I will share this story because Hopi's upstairs, so she can't hear me, right? So she made she cooked dinner last night, right? And it was a wonderful dinner. It was a wonderful dinner, but I have a texture thing for food, which is typical for most artistic or people on the spectrum, right? And the rice was overcooked. So now I am going to be very inventive, Mandy, and in your inbox, Mandy, and refrying it and making fried rice out of it. And I brought that up because this is some of the things that we're going to be really pushing on cuisine, cocktails, and crypto, right? I am super, super excited for that. Shelly, we need help with our logo,
Yeah.
right? We need help with that color scheme that's inducive to open minds to learning, exciting stuff. Because I saw your wine rack behind you. I'm trying to
Right.
figure, is that a wine rack? Yes. 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 See. There we go. Now we get the smile from Scott. Look. He's like, what is? Yeah. Okay. So hey, at the end of the day, and I'll say this to land the plane and to wrap up. We're you in our own quirky little way. You can identify with a lot of who we are, and we're not just here trying to talk at people. or talk down to people. These are lived experiences we've all had. And we find a way to go around the mountain, over the mountain, through the mountain, underneath the mountain. But we get over the mountain, right? But we don't do that alone. We do that with the support of friends and family. You do that with the support of your community. Um, and sometimes you do that by standing still long enough to hear the answers that you've asked the universe for. So sometimes it does mean that you have to kind of take a step back. If it's not working, it's not the end of the world. It simply means that now you need to reassess what you need to do differently in order to move forward successfully. But you're not alone. You can always tap into any of our spaces where we're at to give you that encouragement, to give you that motivation, to provide resources as well on how you can continue to not only survive, but thrive in the digital economy. And I'll end on that.
Well said. And it is strawberry lemonade cake.
Debate settled.
Oh my God, strawberry lemonade cake. Oh, I will tell you this, Shelly. Do you sell on eBay?
Yeah, I saw that. I used to, so I need to get back into it.
Yeah, Hello Alice currently has a grant. If you have been on eBay for at least 6 months and have your store active for 6 months,
Okay.
they have a grant, and it's a very easy process. This is one of the things that I've been doing to share as well, right? Checking out easy processes, grants to apply for that you don't need to pay a big company. 42 questions. You could copy and paste literally stuff from your website in there. It was that easy. And I think it's more than $10,000, and they have quite a few to give away. So it's helloalice.com. Check them out. And that could absolutely help you scale your business as well. Right? There we go.
There you go. All right. Shelly, Will, any closing statements?
Shelly, ladies first.
Hey, I see a bunch of my holders in here, Diamond Hand Dratic addicts, over here. So I say thank you to you guys for supporting me throughout this process. There's almost 100 of you guys, so thank you for turning up. And then, of course, Pi Protocol Marketplace for being such an amazing host. Lava Heads, like we're gonna turn it up over here. We're doing stuff in the Web3 space every day. Pocket Cows, woo! All right. We got Heroes Token over there. I appreciate you, Scott, for hosting this. Mistress, it's been amazing since I met you and the introduction through the Pocket Cows. I guess the Pocket Cows really introduced me to a bunch of amazing people. So I can't thank them enough, Toro. And then Will over there. I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to see what your Web3 book's gonna bring out. So thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just want to give honor and grace to the host and the hostess with the mostest. Thank you for having me on again. I do appreciate it. Shout out to my first family crypto, the social bees DAO. Bzz, 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 bzz. And then I just want to say, from my perspective, as an educator in this space, right? Soak it all in, be a sponge, embrace your student mentality. This is the time and place for exploration and curiosity. Embrace your inner child and think about the fond memories that you had in school and what inspired you to learn in the first place.
Well said. And I just want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. We appreciate you all. And the people that were watching, like Darren and Toro, both of them were here. And we appreciate you. Both of them fantastic. If you haven't seen Destination DeFi, check it out. Him and Toro do a show multiple times a week, if I'm not mistaken. So in any case, my best to you all. And
wait, I forgot to say what's on next week. As you know, legal can be really expensive.
Hold up.
So next week.
One second. I cannot do the show next Friday.
Oh, wait, what? No. We've done 20. You can't. Will and Shelly, you're on co-hosting me next week. I cannot do it without.
I'm going to be out of pocket as well.
Over there.
I'm sorry. No, I'm going to be out of pocket as well.
Off camera, but I predisposed next Friday. But in any case, go ahead, Rochelle.
We were going to have Michael on, Michael Kasdan, blockchain attorney extraordinaire, with access to a legal fund for small businesses. So this is huge. This was going to be a huge one.
I have a graduation I have to attend.
Oh my God, no, that's major. That's major. That is major. As one parent to another that did the dancing jig on graduation day, my brother, hell yeah. Hell yeah, we taking off. Hell yeah, we taking off. Bro, you're this much closer to getting them out the house. Oh.
So I have that next Friday. So I can't do it next Friday. But
no, that's okay.
Maybe
okay. Congratulations.
We could do a special episode Sunday. So we still have it, just it'll be a different day.
No, I'm absolutely down for that. Whatever day you want to do it. I know this is a proud moment for you and Megan, and a phenomenal moment for your son because he got through it. He lived through high school. All right. He lived through high school on to college. It's a momentous occasion. Definitely one to celebrate. I celebrate with you. I'm so happy for your family, Scott. Take all the time you need, and I'll see you Saturday morning. I'm kidding.
I appreciate it. But yes, we do have him scheduled for the future. Just not sure when.
Yeah, we'll work it out. That's a great connection. I'm so excited to share. So, we'll see you. We'll let you know. We'll post it up. When we're back.
Yep, absolutely. All right, everyone. Have a fantastic evening.